everyone. My name is Julius, and I am here with another podcast about films, bumbling, and cinema in nature. This is my NPR voice. How does it sound? Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. I am here once again, and I'm here once again with Miss Jessica. Why are you laughing?
The audience clap, because you said the same thing twice.
Yeah, well, I am here 2 times with you. Wow. Have you ever seen that video of Owen Wilson? He's like, they edited it weird.
Yes.
It's like for Loki.
Yes.
Where he's talking about, I have never been part of the Marvel. It's like you're switching gears in a car and shit.
Yeah.
Jessica, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
I'm talking to you like we haven't seen each other.
I know,
for like the
we
last couple hours.
Yeah, for the last 3 hours we haven't been sitting right next to each other.
How are you, though?
I'm good.
You good?
There's been a lot happening in my personal life, but overall, can't say I'm too bad off. I'm pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you were here not last week, but you were here last episode.
Podcast. Pulp Fiction.
For Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Where you were in a room filled with children,
men.
Pretty much. Men.
All stupid little men. No, I'm joking. I just felt like it was in the correct vein of what we're about to talk about. But yes,
it's true.
I was here with children,
yeah,
essentially.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, how did you feel in that dynamic? Because even though it's all men, you were higher than all of us, you know?
Wait, how,
like you were physically sitting higher than all of us.
I was. To give context for the people that cannot physically see, the boys were sitting in, chairs in Julius's room that were slightly lower, and I was just chilling on Julius's bed, which is a little slightly more raised.
Yeah.
And I was checked in and out of the entire podcast.
Well, you were.
I was going back and forth between laying down, looking at my phone, and then popping up and interjecting.
Wait a minute, I have something to say about that.
Yeah.
Wait, the Mia Wallace was full of shit. What was up with her feet, yo? Wait, let me burp real quick. Did you, by the way, because you were last episode talking about burping competitions?
Oh, I didn't! God damn it! I still haven't looked it up.
Dude, I was counting on that.
Fuck.
I'm listening to that episode. I'm listening to it, and I'm like, oh man, this next episode is going to be great. She's going to come in with some knowledge.
I've literally had it on that link for 3 weeks now. I still have not looked it up for 3 straight weeks, even though it's been
Oh my god!
Even though it's been in the back of my brain.
What's keeping you from looking this up? Is there some sort of psychological barrier? Are you scared of the information you'll find?
Maybe I just want to be right, so I don't want to have the chance of being wrong by looking at. I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
maybe I just want mine to be
Yeah.
Maybe I just want mine to be the way, so I'm not even educated. I don't think that's correct. I don't think that's why. I've genuinely been fucking going crazy, but yeah.
Well, that's a very true statement for me, not regarding burping, of course, but not wanting to see, for example, having trouble listening to other podcasts because I do one here. You know? And I'm like, I don't want to see another way for it to be done.
Oh, because you want your formula to be correct.
Exactly. I want it to be the way of doing it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But people do it.
Well, we were literally, for the listeners that before we did the intro, we were literally just talking about setting up a camera here, so that the people on whoever watch this can actually watch us talk as well, which I'm sure kind of goes a little bit along that vein of what you were just saying of that's adding a new element. I don't know if I want that to be right. Yeah. This is my podcast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I used to do.
Because I know you like taking this seriously.
Yeah.
Which you should. it's good. I like it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I used to do, when I was back on the other channel, the other channel, we would do podcasts that were just, I say quote unquote, because it was just our friend using his phone to film it, and it's just us, and there's no mixer now. There's no mics or anything. There are no 2 channels. It's just a video. And it's just people talking.
Just a recording of a conversation in general.
And I'm like,
that's funny.
I mean, that's fun. It's cool to see, but it's not really a podcast.
No, it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe.
Yeah. Our friend Brian was on one of these podcasts.
That's funny.
where they're chilling in the garage and they're talking, and it's fun.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I wanna be on it to ask them. I don't even know the podcast's name. I'm gonna ask Brian to send me a link.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say, hey, is this really a podcast? And then they're gonna ask,
this qualify?
Is this real? Like you're kind of being a little bit fraud right now.
Yeah.
And then they'll ask me to leave while recording.
Well, mid recording session, you hear the door slam.
Dude, I'll say like, hey, okay, I'll leave the garage now, okay? But just do me a favor. Don't cut this out.
Yeah.
Keep
it in. Don't fucking edit it out.
Don't. You know, is there any, like, do you watch any podcasts, listen to any? Like, aside from...
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Aside from the ones Brian's on.
Oh, 100. I don't even listen to the ones Brian's on.
How dare you?
There we go.
This voice was made for listening.
Well, because I've only ever listened to 2 podcasts.
Which ones?
The first one, when I first started listening to podcasts, was one about, like, love and relationship advice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it was almost like love counseling, and this couple would bring, like, expert people in and give their own anecdotal thing, and it was really cool and really insightful, especially at a time when it was with my ex Miles, and it was my first, like, long-term, really serious adult relationship I was trying to make work.
Mm-hmm. So you listen to that, so that you could apply it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And plus, it was kind of entertaining to see how other people view or other coping mechanisms that people. Yeah. Like it was to be applicable, but it was also just interesting to hear how other people view love and all of that.
Yeah.
The second one I listened to, and this is the only one I currently still listen to, is Trixie and Katya.
Who's that?
The Bald and the Beautiful.
What?
It's 2 drag queens just fucking ranting and having their own conversations.
I think I know this one.
I hope so.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I know there was one of like that, I think.
Yeah.
Where they were feuding with Ethan Klein. Like from H3H3?
Maybe not.
Okay, well,
it's typically just the 2 of them, and then maybe if one of them's sick, they'll bring in like an extra person to substitute in for them. But it's typically just Trixie Mattel.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mattel,
it's all connected. Fuck.
It's Trixie Mattel and Katya Zamolodchikova. They're both RuPaul Drag Race alumni.
Oh, okay.
Who, after their season, came together and just have this crazy connection. And they have their own stupid little podcast where it's really not about anything serious, but you listen to the way they talk, and it's like it's funny. You ever hear a conversation, you're like, wow, I'm glad I'm listening to this. Not because I'm getting anything from it. It's just entertaining.
It's just tea.
Yeah, that's exactly what that podcast is.
Oh my god.
And that's the only one I currently listen to, and my second one I've ever listened to.
Is it like reality television, pretty much? Where there's like drama that's ongoing?
No, not really.
Oh, they're just bullshitting.
They're just going. They're just shooting the shit.
Oh. They need to add like a villain to their series.
Well, Katya sometimes is the villain of their own arc.
And I like it.
Katya has struggled with sobriety. She's back on the horse, but
on the sobriety horse.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Well, did they ever like argue? Because I like a podcast with a big argument.
No, they don't. Well, it's funny arguing. If they do argue, it's banter. It's insulting. It's banter. It's like what we have with Brian and you, but more gay. It's literally that, but gay.
I couldn't even imagine that. It's pretty gay with Brian and I, especially when he grabs me by the back of the head and he comes up and he says,
undertone. There's still a straight undertone. I don't know how to describe it.
On my end.
Yeah.
Yeah. For Brian, it's just like, dude, this guy has literally come on. Whether you like it or not. I'm like, what? And I'm like, okay, it's all fun and games, and then he actually reaches. I'm like, oh God.
Oh no.
Look, I'm clenching up just thinking about
You literally moved your leg.
Oh God.
We're playing fire truck here.
Yeah, Brian comes up to me.
Say stop when you want. Fire trucks don't stop. Yeah.
Oh my God. There's this one podcast I listened to back in the day where they were getting into this really big argument about pirating DVDs.
Oh God.
And it got bad.
Okay.
I'm gonna insert a clip right here.
Okay. Insert clip now.
You want to see it for free.
Yeah, they want to see it for free.
Yes, that is the argument. The argument is, I want to fucking see it for free. I don't want to have to pay because I don't want to pay for what someone else has done.
Because
and you act like I'm on some kind of moral high horse because I want to fucking pay somebody for the work they fucking did.
Because you want to look down on a person that can always afford to see as many movies as you do.
I don't even give you guys a hard time. It just pisses
you want
me
to look
off.
down
You
on people.
pat people on the back
of
for
course
watching a movie for free.
There's people in another country who can't. Oh no, I'll be Joe Morrow. Be like me. Don't rent it at all because it's a hard line black and white. If you steal, you steal. You're guilty, you're guilty. No, fuck you, man.
I'm not gonna tell somebody. You to pay for your entertainment. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry if you can't afford to see it.
That was pretty funny, wasn't it? It was pretty good.
Wow.
I can't believe they went that far.
Yeah.
Well, last time we were talking obviously about Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
And this time we're talking about Barbie, but before we get into that and everything, I just want to let you know, and let whoever might be listening know,
our audience,
the audience, the ears, as I like to refer to them,
the ears.
This may get a little political because Barbie is just a movie like that.
That makes sense. Yeah, we probably are.
Even though it's more socially political, but there are those elements to it.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you wince at that, that's fine. But speaking of which, I wanted to talk to you a little bit before we get into the movie talk.
Okay.
It kind of is along the lines of politics.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you about your experience today being at Cal State LA.
Oh.
Because of what's going on.
Oh.
I saw a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
A live feed, a news feed.
Yeah.
Of the protests going on over there.
Yep.
Obviously, there are protests all over the country, all over schools. Across the country.
Yeah.
Regarding Gaza, Free Palestine, and everything.
Yeah.
And here, over at Cal State LA, a school that I attend and you attend.
Yeah.
It's happening to where there are like blockades and there are cops there and everything. I think the last time I saw or heard that there were staff in the student services center, including the president of the school.
Yes.
So you were.
There's a ABC 7 News clip that you can probably attach to this if you want.
Yeah.
To the show.
Which one?
I'll text you the link.
Okay. Yeah. Please do. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because you were there on campus today because you're a tutor also.
Yes.
So what? You were telling me a little bit about it earlier.
I was kind of a little bit stupid, goofy, silly, and hopefully
okay, all at the same time.
Hopefully the academic center does not hear this, but
you want me to like muffle your voice?
I don't know what I was thinking. No. My silly little stupid goofy dumb brain
once again all at the same time
didn't think to check my email until I was already on campus 5 minutes late for clocking in.
Oh Jesus.
So I'm on campus seeing that it's a ghost town.
Yeah.
Like no one.
Wow.
And I get there and I'm trying to log in as I'm walking up to the library, right? I'm logging into my email. I get there, the double doors don't even open. Both double doors on both sides of the library are locked. So I was like, oh, great. Now I get to rush and find a place to... So, yeah.
And it's barren.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, all of the buildings are pretty much closed. So all you see is the protest encampment that's outside of Billie Jean King Auditorium and just the leftover barricades at the Student Union right now.
Wow.
That's about it. There's a couple.
No one was there. Or?
There's a couple like maintenance guys that are doing stuff, but that's about it.
Yeah, they're not. Are they there just because they are already? They would be there.
Yes.
They're not like dealing with any of the.
No.
I see. I see. So wow. So did you see any of? I'm gonna assume you didn't go to the area that's like.
No, I don't trust No, I'm
join
tiny. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, they'll just carry me in. I mean, that's an exaggerated. But they'll just be like, another body, let's go!
A new follower.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I don't need to go over there.
Wow. So you went over You saw the area. You saw that it was all barren.
Yeah.
And by the way, while you're explaining the story, I'm going to add some ambiance.
Okay.
And some suspenseful music as you're walking along. What's going on? You hear the little...
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all the tables that are by those like white umbrellas out front that's next to the library, there's no tables, there's nothing.
Because they were taken.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. So do you hear any like sirens, any helicopters or anything like that?
It's silent.
Wow.
It's silent and there's nobody.
Is it how do you feel? Do you feel like panicked in that moment, or like are you just like, okay, I should probably just I'll be okay.
I don't
I
feel
just
panic, but I feel concerned. I'm like, all right, just keep your wits about you. Don't be stupid right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I personally, when I saw the feed, I was like, I'm happy to see the protests. I personally don't feel like I have enough knowledge to fully speak on how I feel.
Yeah.
But I was happy to see the protests at our school, especially after UCLA's protest support. I was happy to see it. But I feel like behind every movement, whatever you are doing, there needs to be a certain amount of organization so the message does not get lost. And I feel like that type of action, what was done there, the message got lost because the news wanted to glorify it and make it seem more violent and paint it to be, UCLA actually was violent.
Yeah.
These people are not trying to be violent. And I think the way that was organized was not smart at all. I think it got lost in translation, and there was a much better way to go about it if you're really trying to fight for the cause.
Of course. Well, is Cal State LA financially invested in
technically
what's going on?
What has been targeted is the CSUs as a whole.
Right.
Apparently there's some type of financial investment, but if you keep in mind, we're one out of how many CSUs?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If you're really trying to make an impact, why the hell are you going to just the president of our school? Why aren't you going to the president of the CSUs?
Yeah.
Again, it's not fully organized, not smart planning.
Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate because I agree I've been talking to a couple people about this, since you can't get away from it.
No, it's our campus. It's our campus. Can't go to school now.
No, of course. So, and summer's on currently? Okay, so...
Summer classes are active currently.
They are, but they're just asynchronous and
for the last 2 days.
Least,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so here the thing is, I agree with the sentiment. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I agree, where they're coming from. I'm for it, but the it becomes really gray when, and maybe this is out of pocket for me to say, but it escalated to the point where it's kind of a hostage situation.
Yes.
There are people, because as far as I know, the people haven't been released or like...
No, okay, so here's what was in the news clip from ABC 7. One of the teachers, the faculty that was in support, was specifically saying, these students are not being hostile, they're just trying to make a point.
Right, yeah.
So they were apparently... From what the faculty that was supporting it was saying, there wasn't supposed to be any hostility. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if there were some students that were actually taking it too far to be hostile, or if that was just the news glamorizing it. Mm-hmm. I genuinely don't know where that line is, and I think that's kind of what you're getting at a little bit.
Yeah. Is the president one of those staff members?
Yes, that was in the building.
But I mean, like, is he... Or he or she, I don't... She, okay. Is the president... I'm just going to refer to them as the president. Is the president being that, I guess, generous about what they're doing? Or are they against... I know they're the president, so they're going to be against it.
I don't think they have... I don't think she's given a specific stance. Obviously, she's not doing anything about the encampment.
Right.
And I feel like that was almost encouraged a little bit by the university at some point.
To do an encampment.
I almost feel like, I don't know if that was like faculty or if that actually came from the president, but I know that there was some push behind it from staff.
Yeah.
But the president herself, I honestly have no clue. I feel like last I knew of, because I don't always read the emails, I feel like she's been kind of silent on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what makes it a little scary, is that not even hearing from her, and she's currently there, and I know the police are currently coming up with some sort of strategy to get in there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's going to get a little ugly. you know, when that happens, I think, you know.
I'd hope not.
I hope not either,
But yeah,
you know, it's
in the name of protest, it probably will.
Yeah. Oh God, you know, it's easy for us right now to get really heated about this.
You were like, oh, we're not gonna get too political, but it's gonna go. It went there fully.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit because we're not getting too deep into.
Yeah, we're not getting into legality.
I'm just curious about your experience regarding being there, you know, and
it was weird.
I'm just glad you're safe.
It was definitely weird.
You know.
Yeah.
Were you dressed like this?
Yeah, I went like this.
By the way, Jessica is wearing a Barbie shirt.
Like a light pink Barbie shirt, a cute little short checkered skirt, and Vans. So
Vans.
Pink Vans to match the pink shirt.
Yeah, so you look like...
I could easily get snatched.
Yeah, exactly. You look like someone would be looking at you walking and saying...
Well, it's funny because Nick and I... Yes. Nick and I went to Home and Depot before coming here.
Oh, okay.
Because I was on Zoom, so I could pretty much go wherever I wanted to.
Right. Yeah.
We went to Home and Depot, and within walking, like literally before I even stepped 2 feet in the door, Nick already noticed 2 men separately just looking at me as I walked in.
Oh my. Well, sure.
I was
Look
like,
at you.
Oh, I didn't even.
So, did you just call it? Wait, did you call it Home and Depot?
Home and Depot.
Home Depot?
Oh God.
How long have you been calling it?
Home Depot?
No, Home and Depot.
I've been saying Home and Depot or Home and Depot, like
your whole life.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's Home Depot.
Yeah. What are we gonna do with you? Were you saying that to this Nick character?
The guy I'm dating? Yeah.
Yeah. You were saying Home and Depot.
Yeah, but I say it quick enough. I don't think people will fully register it.
I think they register.
Shut up.
They're just too distracted
by
your outfit.
Sexy body.
Oh my God. How's that going?
It's going good.
I'm worried about that.
Why?
What do you mean? Well, I'm worried about it because I don't want to get too deep. I'm not going to bring out your whole dirty laundry. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm not going to.
Thank you.
But what I'll say is that it seems a little soon.
Yeah.
From the last one.
We talked about that. We did talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what was said?
That right now it's just dating for that exact reason.
Uh-huh.
It's not anything more.
Uh-huh.
And if there needs to be an active conversation, pretty much if.
Yeah.
Something doesn't feel right or yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just, you know, I've been thinking about bringing that up for a while.
No, I think Brian texted me immediately after too and was like, "Hey, so yeah."
So what's
no,
the deal?
but from the same place coming from concern.
Right, of
and
course.
I explained that to him today.
You did?
Yeah.
While he was at Lake Tahoe / Santa
No,
Cruz.
to Nick. I told it to Nick.
Oh, to Brian. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Brian.
No, when we went to Porto's,
Uh-huh.
he was like, well, how do they feel about us? Because he knows that I tend to make friends very easily, whether it's guys or girls. Yeah. And he knows that you guys are a group of all guys. He doesn't care.
Right.
But he was just curious. He's like, how do they feel about me? And I was like, they don't care. I think they were more so just concerned to make sure I'm...
Yeah.
Because because I literally... Last they heard of, I was like, oh, I need to be single.
Yeah.
And then I say, oh, I'm dating someone.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, okay, I get it. They're just trying to make sure. They're trying to keep you in check. They're trying to make sure you're okay. And I was like, yeah exactly.
I don't know him. You know, I've never met
exactly.
him, so
That's
I don't
why
feel anything about him.
Exactly.
It's more about you because we hung out the day that when shit went down.
Yeah.
I saw you that day, and you know we'd been.
Was
talking
it that
before.
day?
Yeah.
God, yeah. I did it. No, I think it was that weekend. It was that weekend.
Or I don't know. It was that weekend. It was within.
It was like 2 days after. It was 2 days after.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And well, we, I'm just worried about that.
No, I appreciate it.
And I wanted to tell you that. And I wanted to record me telling you that because it's
just
good
to make
content.
Just to make sure that everyone knows you're a good friend.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what?
No, I appreciate that.
And you know what else? Good friends like, share, and subscribe
to this channel.
so get us up in those numbers if you want
so
Jessica's
hit that like button
to succeed. No, I worry.
Like, intense worry?
I worry.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Because I've known you for a while at this point.
Yeah.
You know, and I care.
Yeah.
You know, and we've spent a lot of time together, so I just want to make sure you're good.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm being
and I
cool
still feel
about
like
it.
I'm focused.
Good.
You know, when I was going on about, I need to divert my attentions to the right stuff. I need to reprioritize. I still feel like I have that
desire?
focus, that new focus, that reset, that reframing of focus. I still feel like I'm still reprioritizing things. It still
Good.
feels,
Who's
yeah.
calling me? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Justin is calling
Justin?
me. You silly. I'm recording this moment you called, and you're going to hear it. You're going to hear me hanging up on you. Good. Good. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
All I can really say is that, I hope you're okay.
I'm good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to Nick, if he's listening.
No,
he
probably will.
You better be fucking careful. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
It's as simple.
My Kenergy is in manifesting.
Oh my god. Your Kenergies.
That's right.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
You know, when I'm listening to fucking music like this and getting a ride from one of my bitches, I always make sure to subscribe to Bumbling Cinema. Why? Because that motherfucker Julius preaches. And when I mean preaches, he preaches. So why don't you do yourself a fucking favor and go subscribe to this motherfucker, alright? Subscribe. Or I'm gonna see you real soon. Real soon.
Okay. All right. Well, since we're talking about Kenergy and you're talking
Mattel.
about Mattel and your
Barbie
your
shirt.
your shirts and my fit and everything.
He's wearing the I am Kenough sweater.
I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
We're dripped out right now.
Yeah. We took a picture specifically for this.
Yes, we did. So I'm gonna insert that right
Here. The amount of inserts for this one is crazy.
Oh, it's not as crazy as one of the ones I did with Brian and Sebastian.
Okay.
I just kept on putting in El Chop. We're here to talk about last year's big hit. One of the biggest films of last year. Barbie.
Wow!
Here, you know what? I'm going to get a drink. So talk to them about Barbie a little bit. Just say your experience with this film and everything.
Okay.
I'm getting a little drink from this mini fridge, which is on brand. Do you want one?
No.
You want a Capri Sun with Mario?
Oh my god, wait, yes, I do. Thank you. I love this. This is such a good Capri Sun.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I was given it by Miles and Crystal.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
They actually they begged me to take it. I don't know why. I don't know what's in it. But be careful.
Am I about to be drugged? The fuck?
Maybe.
Okay,
You never know.
I've accepted
You're
it.
in a safe place.
This is true. If I am gonna get fucked up, at least I know I'm safe with you.
Hold on a second. I tell you, you're about to get drugged. And then I tell you, you're in a safe place. They don't go together. Don't trust it. Jesus Christ. What am I going to do with you? But please, just drink up. Anyway. Here, let me open this.
Yeah, I didn't think about how those two things were congruent.
I have my watermelon La Croix, which is pink as well.
Ah!
Oh, yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. It's summertime. And you need something cold and refreshing.
Like a loqua.
Like as Sebastian would call it, elega. You know, this movie is secretly about
Me.
actually, I was gonna say Brian.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. The movie is Barbie.
Hey, Barbie. Can I come to your house tonight?
Sure. I don't have anything big planned, just a giant blowout party with all the Barbies and planned choreography and a bespoke song. You should stop by.
So cool.
This is where I put in the trailer. The little clip of the trailer.
I'm just Ken and I like John.
You like what?
Pete Davidson's version is I'm just Pete and I like jugs. I'm mentally ill and I'm on drugs.
I like that. I kind of like that more than the original. Oh, Jesus. So it is last year's hit, along with Oppenheimer, coming out the same day as Oppenheimer.
I did do Barbenheimer.
You did do it?
I did do Barbenheimer.
Oh,
yeah.
shit. You saw
I did
them
it with
both
Zion,
in the same
yeah.
day? So, okay, so which one did you like more? It was Barbie, I assume?
I would say if we're going unbiased, I would say I like them equally. But if we're going for something that's more in my wheelhouse, it would be Barbie.
Okay, so you didn't. I didn't think
the quality of the film was necessarily any better than the other because the commitment to the style was equally matched.
Yeah.
They're just two completely different styles.
Yeah. Well, were you just as interested in both when seeing them?
No, I was more interested in Barbie.
But so you went for the sake of the meme.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know, a lot of people did.
I went because I was trying to spend more time with the man at that point.
Oh, I see.
In time.
And did he want to see Oppenheimer more than you did?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
I see.
Yes.
I see. No,
so it worked
cool.
out.
Yeah. Well, you know, it happened.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize how much longer Oppenheimer was in comparison to Barbie, which was crazy.
Did you fall asleep?
No.
Did you want to?
Yes.
Damn, what is he gonna blow this shit up?
No, not because it got boring, but because it was so late. I think we had like a 9:30 or 10 o'clock showing after getting out of Barbie. Yeah. So we didn't finish the movie until like 12:31.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. I didn't do the experience, the Barbenheimer experience. I only saw Oppenheimer in theaters.
Okay.
I saw Barbie later on, but dude, the amount of people that were in that fucking auditorium sitting right next to me who clearly saw Barbie before
in pink.
Yeah. And pissing me off because they were all drunk and they were like grabbing each other. It was a couple.
Yeah.
It was a couple who was just like, and every time the fucking Albert Einstein would show up on the screen.
Yeah.
This drunk as fuck dude would yell. And it's a packed house.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. The theaters don't get packed that often anymore.
No.
But this one, it's like a lot of fucking people.
Oh, God.
And these two drunk motherfuckers sitting next to me.
Yeah.
And this guy, every time Albert shows up, like, there's my boy. Like every time.
Oh, my God.
There he is.
Oh.
Einstein.
No one gives a flying fuck.
Saluting and shit.
Keep your drunk ass home.
Dude, he's like
Bro.
turned into like a Marvel movie.
I hate it.
I know that guy. The canon. The source material. You mean history? Einstein.
There he is, Steve. What is his name?
Who?
Oh, no.
Who?
Lee. Stan Lee. There we go.
Stanley. Oh, yeah.
You said a Marvel. There's Stan Lee. There's Einstein. Shut the fuck up.
Well, they did have that kind of name drop, as if like at the very end with when they brought up Kennedy. Like, dude, when they name drop Kennedy in there as one of the guys who's against Strauss, everyone was like, whoa!
Yeah.
Barbenheimer was the experience of last year. I'd say.
It was.
At least theatrically, especially. How often do you go to the movie theaters and shit?
Before that point, I rarely went. But at that point, with that person, I was going like almost weekly because it was our weekly thing. Oh, yeah. So now I have an AMC Stubs membership.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
So I can go whenever I want.
Yeah.
And bring in like I think two free tickets per month or 3 free tickets per month. So if you're wanted to go to hang out, we totally could. But
I wanna do that.
Yeah.
I want to fucking do that.
We need to take advantage of it because I'm paying $25 a month. But
hook me up.
Yeah.
You got to see something.
I saw Furiosa with Nick last week. Yeah.
How'd you like it?
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was for being more of a clearly male gazed driven film. Mm-hmm. It was, and I've never seen Mad Max before. That was the other thing.
It was a pretty good pun, by the way. Driven.
Ha 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 ha. Okay.
Jesus Christ. So, what did it feel like? Because I know growing up, going to theater, it's very different, at least for me, than it is now. Where it felt like there was kind of a magic when I was younger.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Did you kind of feel that when seeing those two films in the theater?
100%.
And what do you think is behind that?
Not the Oppenheimer, because it was such a late showing.
Yeah. Okay, so pretty much just Barbie.
Oppenheimer was pretty empty when we went in, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was also a cheaper theater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
In Upland, so.
Oh, okay. So ain't no one. So barely people were at Barbie.
Yeah. No, Barbie was actually pretty packed. Barbie was pretty packed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the desert scene seemed a little too similar to.
Maybe.
If you were like, I don't want to picture this nuclear test in my town.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
No, they ain't Fallout up here, bro. So, is it? I have a feeling what is behind that magical feeling for films in the theater. For me, at least.
Okay.
Regarding Barbenheimer.
Okay.
And I think it was just the amount of people invested.
Yeah.
You know?
It was the general overwhelming anticipation everyone had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like I'm kind of glad that even though it was annoying when I'm seeing Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And that dude's like fucking yeah. But he's there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like those stupid people are there.
Yes.
Because the theater is packed.
Bringing everyone to and
everyone's having an experience.
It's a theater experience.
Yeah.
It's the audience and whenever you take a intro to theater class or whatever, what makes it a theatrical experience is people participating in the entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, I completely agree. That's kind of what made it. Yeah. It's very similar to my first thought of when Black Panther first came out. Mm-hmm. And everyone was showing up in like tribal garb.
Dancing.
Yeah. And the theaters were packed. Like, it's that,
That and Get Out in the theater.
Yeah.
You know? It's like one of my favorite experiences in a movie theater. Everyone's like,
I wish I had seen that in a theater, bro. I wish I saw that so bad.
Yeah. Oh my God. The good old days. Now, see, I didn't see Barbie in the theaters. Okay. And I know you did.
Yes.
And we were talking a little bit about that when we just watched it.
Yes.
Just now.
Yeah.
And so what specifically about that experience kind of stood out to you?
I think the points that brought it together were the lines that you and I were laughing at got everyone because because they were so committed to the world of Barbie, because they were so committed to we are dolls, you are humans. Like when she was like, I'm here to see my gynecologist, right? Yeah. Everyone was laughing. Or when Barbie went up to the construction workers at Venice Beach and was like, just so you guys know, I do not have a vagina and he does not have a penis.
I remember when I was flirting with a girl and she said that to me. I was like, oh, damn it. Fuck.
But it was lines like that, or where in the theater when Mattel bleeped out when the Madam President cursed, and Mattel bleeped it out. Everyone in the theater laughed at that.
Yeah, like it is that communal experience.
Yeah,
of we're all here together.
Yeah, and when Billie Eilish's song came on,
oh yeah,
silent, dead silence, and I think you could almost feel half the people crying in the theater. Yeah. It's
kind of the
or
same,
at least 90% of the women. I don't know about the men in that audience.
Oh, I'm sure the men were also.
I'd hope so, but you know, that's
definitely at the Ken song.
Yeah, well, it was clearly, like I just said, Furiosa was geared toward the male gaze. This was clearly geared a little bit more toward women, and especially with some of the rants.
Breaks. Some things have been happening that might be related.
When my world shakes.
Cold shower, falling off my roof, and my heels are on the ground.
Flat feet!
So I would expect a woman to be a little bit more touched by this and more understanding to it than a man would. I would hope a man would kind of ask questions and get more into it and use this as a way to understand, or to be like, I see your point of view. But you know, there definitely the person I was with at the time definitely was like, well, I wasn't crying at all. I know you were. I was like, okay, cool. So it didn't.
You were.
I didn't touch you at all. Sweet.
Well, I guess when it comes to this film, and I remember when this was announced, and I wasn't too excited by it, mainly because I just thought it was another, like, one of these things that's, it's a movie that's based off just a product. Another one of them.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't really anticipating it, especially when I heard all these different things about it.
Yeah.
You know, I remember there was a time where Amy Schumer was attached to it.
Yes.
And she was going to play Barbie. And I know that became kind of a joke after a while.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're familiar at all with the pitch of that, like, of her version of the film.
I think remind me.
Well, I just remember it was supposed to be like more of a dark, not a dark, but a more cynical kind of mean-spirited take. Because
which we already have enough of that with the Sarah character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing is like it was supposed to be about a Barbie who wasn't like
stereotypical Barbie.
Yeah, and wasn't attractive in
so she was weird Barbie but with a serious tone.
She was weird Barbie supposed to be regular Barbie.
Got it.
And that's kind of the joke. It just kind of fell apart from there.
Yeah.
And now we have this
That's
film.
a slippery slope of getting self-deprecating before Yeah,
that could go either way.
Yeah.
Like of becoming the joke itself.
Exactly.
Rather than being a comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I remember hearing about it, not too excited, and then I see trailers and I'm like, this looks pretty like I didn't expect it to look this fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And they got a great cast with Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling and fucking who else? Who was else is in this?
The guy that plays Shang-Chi.
Yes, Simu Liu.
Yep.
And Scott Pilgrim.
Yep.
What's his name? Michael Cera.
Yep.
Will Ferrell. Dude, they got a whole stacked cast and everything.
Yeah.
And I finally watch it later on after its theatrical run, which I kind of regret now after seeing it twice. And man, what a fucking movie! This movie is not only bold and intelligent, but I didn't expect it to be what it's about when initially watching. What?
Oh.
Damn. Like for you, that's probably like a -3.
I was just about to say 2. It was kind of good because you almost talked through it, but it was still a 2.
That's my burping. So what did you feel about kind of the direction of the film? Because it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. No, I personally, I think a lot of people agree, but I personally loved it. I think they knew, as you said, your initial perception of it was, it's going to be another movie about a product. This is going to be kind of boring. They're going to try and generate some made-up storyline that's not going to mean anything.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that they might have caught on to it, but it was acknowledged by the writers, and at a point they were like, okay, if we're going to make something out of it, that's remember how earlier we were talking about fully leaning into the campiness of it.
Yeah.
Into the silliness of it. It's if they didn't lean into that, I think there's no way they could have pulled this type of film off.
Yeah. Well, it's a very it's kind of like a movie that a lot of movies break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
This one just like completely demolishes it.
There is almost the fourth wall isn't even.
Yeah. It's just it was wide open from the start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
with Lizzo narrating / singing, saying like, "Oh, girl, you okay?"
and then, Michael Cera.
Yeah, just straight up looking directly at us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the narration by Helen Mirren and everything. Saying
Margot is not the proper casting choice. Like what?
Like this is an incredibly unique film.
Yeah,
and
there were bold choices.
Yeah, I'm so glad it was kind of made this way, to where it's not only campy, like we're talking about, not only just a comedy, but there's a lot of heart in it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like the parts that touched you.
Well, it needed levity.
Yeah,
if you're going to get that without, there are some films, and I remember a lot of guys when I was talking about this movie with them, they were saying, like, I was afraid it was going to be another one of those movies that pushes the agenda too hard, that it's annoying, almost.
Right.
And yes, there's a clear message, but I don't think it was to the point of annoyance or to the point of distracting to the rest of the art or the rest of the underlying things.
Yeah.
And I think the only way that could have been done so well is if that levity and that campiness was there.
Yeah,
it needed
exactly.
It needed the dichotomy to be able to address something like that and not have it overdone.
Yeah, I don't necessarily criticize things for being overhanded with their message, or I'm not one of these woke, anti-woke, or like, I don't even think that word means anything really anymore, but like I was telling, I think, Veronica the other day, this movie, in my opinion at least, is kind of woke proof, because it's so, and what I mean by that is, to call it woke is like missing the joke of the film. You know what I mean? Like, it's so goofy, and
it's
so
more than that.
Yeah, and it pushes the agenda.
Yeah,
it absolutely does. But it wears it so on its sleeve, and it doesn't take itself that seriously.
No,
and it has a really strong core to it of humanity. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So to criticize this for being,
and the scoring
woke,
again, you're not acknowledging all of the art that was put into it. The full commitment to the costumes, crazy. The scoring of it, Billie Eilish's song. I'm Ken. I am Ken. Like, and Lizzo, the people that came together for this movie.
Oh, it's incredible.
I feel like if you just say it's a woke movie, you're undermining every other very imaginative and creative thing that had to go to making this movie make sense in the first place. Because on paper, this movie is ridiculous.
Like this does, and especially if you look at, like, not that I'm invested in Barbie as a franchise, but I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
And there have been, like, animated films.
Yes.
Before, like, straight to DVD ones.
Love the Barbie movies.
Well, but they're just straight up,
grew up
like,
with those
movies.
Barbie,
they're just kind of
Mermaidia, Fairytopia, Princess and the
Pauper.
I could go on.
The Nutcracker,
yes.
I know was one.
The Nutcracker.
But they're just, like, movies that are, like, either a fantasy. They're just kind of
they're movies for little girls that
Exactly.
Mattel decided to release.
This one is so, like, genre flipping.
Yes.
In and out of reality.
It's a spoof of a spoof.
It's like satirizing multiple genres at once, like,
Yeah.
there's that scene where Ken is they're like having their thing on the beach, and he's like playing his guitar aggressively and like, that just takes me back to, like, a lot of these rom-coms, like, on Lifetime and, Disney Channel and shit. And okay, they're satirizing those tropes of film,
of love story,
of love stories, and not even just love story, not fiction, not just fiction.
No,
reality.
just a straight up love story.
Yeah. And, like, I'm sure you've
I remember I referenced you bringing the freaking guitar to one of Brian's parties. Like, we've all seen that guy. Not that you meant it that way, but we can all most people can think of a time where, that guy brought the guitar to Dockweiler or something like that.
You're gonna be that guy, Jules. Yeah. Here, wait, hold on. Play the guitar aggressively at you.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Thank you. This is what was needed.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't stop the movie then and there to make it happen.
Hey, Jessica, guess what?
What?
I don't know if it's in tune or not, but it's not in tune. Oh my god. No, that did happen one time, but I wasn't staring
into
aggressively.
Someone's soul for 4 minutes.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me do it again. Let me demonstrate what I'm talking about.
There we go.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
Look at me. Look at me.
Hold on, I'm dusting it off. Look at me. You want me? Jesus Christ. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, I'm currently with the guitar staring at Jessica in the soul. All right. You wanna fuck me. Oh shit. God. Every girl's dream. That exact song. That vocal intonation.
You wanna fuck me.
You think I'm joking, but I'm gonna write that song.
Do it.
Yeah.
I dare you.
No, I will.
No, put it on one of the albums
I
for
will.
someone's birthday. Put it on the album for my birthday.
Oh yeah. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
God damn it.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. I'll have in the background of the song Sebastian going,
Yes.
and then Brian saying, me too. Hashtag me too.
No, one of the songs is just all of us singing happy birthday to Brian.
Oh, jeez, I already did that for every day?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that song in?
No, on every album that you do.
Oh, Jesus. Enough of that, dude. You know what? Speaking of which,
I'm bringing it back to Ken.
Bringing it back to Ken.
Okay.
Brian.
Yes.
I'm just Brian. I got the skill and heart of a lion.
Oh my god. So one of the things we one of the things we acknowledge, and it was, I mean, the acting too. One of the things I said was the acting of Margot Robbie. When you see this perfect facade, you see it first break down.
Yeah.
At the party when she first has that like imminent. What do they say in the movie?
I don't remember, but
thought of death.
Yeah, she's
irrepressible
yes.
thought of death.
Yeah, she's contemplating her morality. Or
yes.
Mortality.
Yes. And it's the first time as she says it, and there's that long pause.
Yeah.
You almost see that really pretty facade just break, and you can see the contemplation in her acting, which was so good.
Yeah, no, it was.
It breaks into the reality world of
of real life.
Yeah,
she has a really interesting, in terms of her performance and her character having. Oh my god, you're gonna burp or what? She has an interesting evolution throughout.
Yeah,
and it's reflected in her performance where. And I don't know if this was on purpose or not. Maybe I'm reading too deeply into it, but it's a film, so it's meant to be interpreted.
Yes.
So there are points near the end where I thought I could hear Margot Robbie's actual accent slip out.
Oh.
And I thought that was kind of intentional of her becoming a real
I wouldn't be
woman.
surprised. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't be surprised.
That would be pretty
to highlight the human
yeah,
side.
Yeah, like her actual.
Well, I know they did that intentionally with the costuming. They actually addressed, as the film went on, her costumes got more and more plain.
Yeah. Before she's wearing toys.
Yeah.
Literally. It's like wardrobe for dolls.
It's a costume.
Yeah.
It's a costume.
There's the whole scene where they're throwing the outfits out the door and they're showing them like products.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As the product as it once was.
And
the
that's
Ice-Capades dress. Yeah.
So obviously this is very much akin to the story of Barbie is very much akin to something like I was thinking of The Matrix where Neo kind of realizes his reality is what it seems to be.
I could see that.
Know?
Yeah.
And even though Barbie's reality isn't fake necessarily because it is a physical world.
It's a representation, as I said. Yeah.
It's fake in that it's fake in that it doesn't it's not as nuanced as real life.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
The complexities, which they touch upon.
And they touch upon it and everything, and she goes on a journey to understand herself and everything, which I love.
Yeah.
I love that this movie is kind of damn, what the fuck is going on with me? This movie.
It's touching your heart.
It's cinema. It's kind of about faith in a way, because they are meeting. I mean, Barbie literally meets her God.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah.
And is
her
given
creator,
a choice.
Her creator. Yeah.
And they go to the world and they see the people controlling everything in their world and stuff, and she has to believe in herself. And how did any of that? Not that I'm not going to ask if it registered or not. You're not a moron, but I'm going to say how did that feel while watching those scenes where it deals with her world versus the real world?
It felt good. I didn't necessarily think faith. Mm-hmm. I more so thought of like, I guess self-love and self-conviction, which is hard to have, I think, for anyone, but damn. Okay.
Your turn.
Yeah.
So you don't want water?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I think it's hard to have in general, but especially when, you know, you do consume a certain amount of media. You are concerned with your image. And that personally for me, that's something being with the type of work I do and with the type of way I like to present myself. I am concerned with my image. So having that is not always easy.
Right.
Yeah. That self-conviction is not always easy.
Yeah.
To just be like, yeah, you're going with your gut. You know what you're talking about. It's going to be okay. Just feel it and do it.
Yeah. That's an interesting point you bring up about the self-image, which is definitely a theme here. I mean, they say it pretty much, like how she's having a self-conscious, like, for the first time.
She's being self-conscious for the first time.
Yeah, and that is interesting for like a toy that is like representative of the ideal woman.
Yes.
To deal with that type of idea, you know. It's really, really cool.
Well, it goes back to what I was saying earlier at Home Depot. I didn't even notice.
Home's a depot.
God damn it.
Or Home and Depot.
Well, I literally, we walked in. Yeah. He saw those two guys stare at me. He told me about it. I didn't even feel it. As we're walking out, there was a group of employees that we passed through that was clearly all men. And at that point, I right as we passed them and we were out of earshot of Nick, or of the employees, I looked to Nick and I was like, I felt it that time.
Yeah.
As we were walking through them, I don't know how to explain it, but you can feel the look.
Right.
And that self-consciousness is there of like, they all stopped talking and I could tell there was an effort to either not look at me or specifically they did look at me.
Yeah.
And that was depicted so well in the movie.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how to explain it as a person other than just a feeling.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Well, they kind of explain, she verbalizes it where she talks about an undertone of violence.
Yes.
You know, and did you feel that today in the...
Not of violence, but definitely of superiority. I don't think I felt any violence because Nick was right there.
Right. Right.
And Nick is like, what, 6 foot? He's about your height.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And man, it's interesting. It's funny because to show they showcase in that moment the mindsets.
Yeah.
But what's funny is that Barbie and Ken are on the same journey in the film.
And they're two completely different planes.
Yeah, and you see it right there, you know?
You also see him treating him like a child half the time. Because
he's childlike. He has
it is that,
and,
it is that naivety, simple-mindedness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thinks he's owed, a woman.
Yeah.
Owed a certain stature.
Yeah.
And respect.
Yeah.
And you see that how he's responding to people looking at him versus how Barbie's responding.
Yeah.
And he's all guffaw about it.
To be fair, the Kens at first were not always treated the best
in Barbie world.
In Barbie world, they weren't. Yeah. They weren't. It was definitely a flip flop. They were the lesser, but like. I even said it during the film. Two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah. Yeah. The movie's also about piggybacking off of that.
Yeah.
The movie's also about both sides of extremism.
Yes.
Right? Like a complete patriarchy versus a matriarchy.
Yeah, which I think was totally also applicable today. That was also driving home a statement.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how things need to be complemented.
Yes.
You know?
How just understanding and listening goes so much further.
Yeah.
Yeah. But getting back to Brian.
Oh, yeah. Well, Brian is Ken.
Well, yes. So Brian is Ryan Gosling Ken. So it was funny before...
You just called Brian Ryan Gosling.
Oh, no.
Do you know what he's going to do with that now?
Oh, God damn it. Anyway.
Jessica thinks I'm Ryan Gosling. Yeah.
I'm going to get that redhead baddie.
She's not goth, but I'll take it. Go for it. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
See what happens when you miss the podcast, Brian? We haven't even gotten to Sebastian yet.
I know. Oh my god.
Go ahead. By all means, I continue with the point. I'm just going to be in the background.
One of the things that one of the other things that was mentioned by Nick and I when we were talking about the movie was how and then we kind of iterated. He was like, man, he's like, I don't know if I'd want my son to see, or not my son, but he's like, it's very interesting how they depict Ken as a simp. He's like, I don't know if that's necessarily good for boys to be watching. And I was like, well, and then I had my own response, but to tie it into what we just saw, you saw the exact opposite, which I think we both kind of concluded was the toxic masculinity representation before patriarchy even comes in with the other Ken.
Yeah.
That's constantly challenging Ryan Gosling. There's definitely that, like, I'm going to get your rivalry always there. And it doesn't feel like it's a friendly rivalry. It feels like a jealous rivalry.
Yeah. It's you know, even in a world where it's run by women pretty much.
Yeah.
There's that whole fighting for the alpha.
Fighting for the woman.
You know, fighting for the woman and everything amongst the subservient class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what's really interesting about this film is that they show different levels of class, different levels of economic states and everything.
Yes.
They get really they examine it in campy ways, but then it becomes very nuanced.
It's clear.
Quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they show how even though, and what I would say about that whole thing of I don't want my son to watch this or whatever.
No, I don't want my son to watch it, but like questioning if it's
appropriate. Or...
Yeah, if it's sending the right message to a little boy, I guess, and that's why I tie in.
What's the message? That's the thing.
Like, is it okay to be that simpy for a girl? Pretty much.
Well, I don't think that's what they're saying with the film.
No, not at all, and that's exactly why I'm coming back to the point of like, you know, you see the dichotomy within the two characters.
Yeah.
And you see the full circle.
Yeah.
And my comment in that moment was, well, you know, I'd hope that a kid would look to daddy and grandpa and uncle and be like, that's not what they did, and they have mommies and wives and whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, you know, I would think that a kid can take a tiny bit of contextualization.
Yeah. Well, they're taking literal people made of plastic, right?
Yeah.
Ideas, as they call them in the film.
Ideas and representations.
And they break them down and make them human, pretty much, and show that there's a lot. Like, the movie ends with Ken being someone who understands that he was simping for Barbie, and because he felt like he had to.
Yes.
You know, he thought that was his
There was
purpose.
no self-identity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He had no identity based on what was formulated for him.
Yes. And
it ends with him becoming, or at least on the road to becoming more self-secure.
Yeah.
With himself.
Yeah.
Self-secure with himself.
So I like to think that message in and of itself is good for anybody to see.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? I love that they both have the exact same arc. It's just that one starts on a higher ground.
Yeah.
And the other becomes bitter because of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I love how you can see as she's saying it, she in the acting, you can see her realizing through the acting, like, what I'm saying is also meant for me. Yeah. Yeah. When she says, you should figure out who you are on your own because you don't know. Mm-hmm. You can see it in her eyes. She's like, oh. Yeah. Yeah. I love whenever they're framed up a lot of the times together. Yeah. It's like a profile, like they're both taking up equal amounts of space in the frame. Yes. Like on the bed. They are a mirror of each other. Yeah, on the bed. Yes. When they're standing in front of each other, you know, they are mirrors of each other. That staging is, yeah. They're just showing that they're pretty much the same. You king, know? I didn't even think about that. Cinema. That is called fine craftsmanship. Art. Well, the other thing that I also remember mentioning to you, going along the lines of doing different styles to emphasize the point, was also going back to the style of camera shooting. Yeah. When we first saw Barbie Land and everything, and when she first came to the real world, it was two very different styles of shooting a movie. It was two very different... Yeah, it was... There was a very clear, like, blown out... version that, you know, the shots of Barbie Land were very clear. They were very one-note frame. You could tell where we were supposed to be looking.
Yeah, and they're highly saturated and everything. The color's vibrant. Yeah. Versus the real world.
When she has her first meltdown at the bus stop, she's looking around her and the camera's moving. Mm-hmm. There's not a clear purpose of what she's looking at. Mm-hmm. She's just kind of observing people. Yeah. It's driving home the point of fantasy versus reality just within the style that they're shooting in. Yeah.
No, that's a great point. It feels more like it kind of feels like an indie film in that scene. You know what I mean? The way it's shot. You know, where it's like kind of it's coming into Margot where she's like
exactly. Just let it out, bro. Just burp.
Yeah, well, it's coming. The camera's coming in on her, and it's slow, so you can like really see the performance. Yeah, and it cuts to these really somber shots of everybody around.
It reminds me of something you've tried to do in your films before. Mm-hmm. Honestly, yeah.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, I know that's been the goal sometimes in your shots. So absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know for a fact when I make Barbie 2.
Oh God.
Brian will come in there as Ken.
Oh no.
Barbie, you'd be better if you were God's Betty.
Oh no.
Okay, that's enough of Brian. I'm gonna bring in Sebastian.
Yeah.
Sebastian is Alan.
Okay, can we just discuss Alan really quick?
Yeah, let's talk about, because every time that dude shows up, you're looking at me saying, my theory.
Fruit
is coming true.
Fruit. Just straight up fruit by the foot, motherfucker.
The Alan theory. Go for it.
That man is gay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not.
I mean, it's fine if that's who you are.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have many gay friends.
My father's gay.
It's not that that's a bad thing.
Well, it's clear that the rest of the Kens were made to be with Barbie. And Alan, as we mentioned, is the only one that literally is directly... There is no fourth wall because Alan is directly looking at us. Alan is the only one that is directly addressing us the entire time.
There's an interesting moment of that where I think he is the only one to break the fourth wall because there's the narration by Helen Mirren. Yeah. And he's the only one who hears it. Yeah. Because she says something about him being the only one, right?
Oh, yes.
And he's like, I still don't know why that is.
Yes.
So on a meta level and in the film, it's kind of showing him, it's depicting him obviously as an outsider. Yeah. Which, you know, and the way that Alan is kind of Alan? That's his name, right?
Alan.
He's a little effeminate and everything. Yeah. He's, you know, he's not with the whole
wanting to be with the girls more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He teams up with them.
He's for the girls.
Yeah, and obviously you can read that as, okay, he's gay. Yeah. And I thought that was funny, you know?
I loved it. I loved it so much.
You know, there's a moment where it feels like he's going back to his roots of Scott Pilgrim. Yeah. This is the world where he does that fight scene.
Oh, 100%.
Which I love.
100%.
But it was funny every time you would look at me and you'd say, yeah, there he is once again. That little fruit.
I didn't say it like that. Funny. I just did the hands.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's better. Look at that little gay queen. Played by Michael Cera.
Well, I also was trying to think... I have another point after this, but I was also trying to think of, like, is there when we're going back to the reality versus fantasy, is there a reason for that, like a purpose for that he is the only one that seems to not fully be in the fantasy land and is already kind of in the reality of things. Yeah, right. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get you, because he's not like... Sarah's performance isn't as played up as everyone else's.
Yeah.
You know, it's very... It reminds me a little bit of his role in Scott Pilgrim, where it is very, in a way, grounded. Yeah. You know, in such an animated setting. Yeah. You know? And he's just playing it kind of straight throughout the whole time.
Which was smart casting. They probably did that because they knew that he could be that role for the film. Yeah.
I don't know who... This movie is really well cast.
Yes.
Top to bottom. I can't imagine them getting anyone else for these roles, you know? Like, I was talking about that with my friend Daniel. We were talking about the Oscars, and we're talking about, because Gosling was nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah,
so,
and I think he was shocked about something. One of the things he won.
There's that meme of
He's like, what? Yeah.
For I'm Just Ken, I think it was something.
He's like, what the fuck?
He's like, why the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
But we're talking about the casting of him specifically because we were talking about that category.
Okay.
And how, and it could be said for everybody, how you can't imagine anyone else really casted in these roles.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's hilarious because Margot was not initially, she was like the 4th pick.
Well, yeah, and she became the producer.
Yeah. No, she was initially the producer. Back when Amy Schwimmer was on it, she was initially executive producer. Yeah. And then once Amy had to bail, they were like, all right, we wanted you all along. Let's put you in. She was like, shit, all right.
All right. You used Amy Schumer as a bargaining chip.
Yeah. It was, I think, one of the options before Amy was Anne Hathaway. But there was a scheduling conflict. Yeah.
I wonder what that would have been like.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have.
There was 3 different women before they landed on Margot.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like Anne Hathaway, but I don't really see her
as a Barbie. No.
As the stereotypical Barbie.
No.
Like it's funny, you get Margot Robbie as a producer, this actress who looks like a Barbie.
Yes.
Who's an amazing actress.
Yes.
You're not gonna be.
You're not gonna make the move.
Come on.
Yeah.
To do it, and she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
In the film, man.
Absolutely.
Oh, God.
Absolutely. The other point that I wanted to make.
Yeah.
Besides, I mean, the casting was amazing, but.
Sarah's gay. Or what's his name? Alan. Alan's gay.
The other point that I want to make was I love that Mattel included all the discontinuations.
Oh, yeah.
That they had.
Yeah. Like, Midge? Midge?
Yeah, Midge.
Midge? Her name is Midge?
Or Midge or something like that. The pregnant one.
Okay, I'm gonna call her Bonnie from Family Guy.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. It was, yeah. And that, I think, also, as you... recalling to one of the things you said previously, goes back to classes and all of that. The discontinued Barbies aren't even shown in Barbie Land.
Yeah, they're like
they're at the weird Barbie's house. Yeah,
exactly. I thought we discontinued that one.
Yeah, and the dog shitting in the house.
Just dropping these little pebbles.
Yeah, I remember that dog. I wanted that dog so bad.
You didn't have him?
No.
Which Barbies did you have?
I had...
Here, can you tell them while I use the restroom?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to come back as
the host himself leaves the podcast.
I've had enough of this.
Guys, this is now my podcast. Welcome to the Jessica Coffin Podcast, where today we recap...
That's a good name for it.
You know, maybe it will be that from now on. Sorry, Bumbling Cinema. It's now the Jessica Coffin Podcast. No, the Barbies I had that were seen in that movie, and I mean, Julius's mom was watching with us at the same time, and she was kind of also saying what Barbies she had as a kid. So it also served as nostalgia, which was really cool. The one that I had was one of the discontinued Barbies with the screen on her back, like that TV screen on her back. I either had that one or a Barbie that could like take pictures and the image showed up on her back. So I had that one. I always wanted the dog one. I remember my mom always told me about the Skipper doll. Everyone wanted the Skipper doll. Julius's mom brought up the Skipper doll.
Oh God. I shudder to think what you've been saying. How many racial epithets?
Oh my God, no.
All right, so let's start fresh and fit too. Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo.
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I was also kind of nostalgic for certain little girls because if you did have a Barbie, you were like, oh, I had that. Like the, Like the mom was saying, I had you when I was little.
Yeah.
People were doing that in theaters. Your mom and I were doing that as we were watching it. You know?
I remember her saying that the first time we watched it.
Yeah.
About the ones, especially during the credit sequence, they show off the different Barbies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which ones did you? You said you had the TV one.
Yeah. I had the TV one. I always wanted the dog one. I always remember my mom telling me about Skipper, which your mom also brought up Skipper.
Oh my goodness. What was? They brought up Skipper like as one doll in the past that had previously gotten out. of the land.
Yes.
Like it had.
Yes, that had went to the islands.
The island.
And was asking to watch someone's kids, and they handled the situation somehow.
They just assassinated her, probably.
No, because she showed up in the Barbie house. She was the one that had the boob where it grew.
Oh,
remember?
Oh, okay.
Was that her?
Okay.
I think that was her.
Well, I remember.
If not, it was a similar character. But I think that was her.
Hey, I don't remember her name. I remember her body.
Oh my God.
All right.
Inflatable booby.
Inflatable babies. I'm just kidding. I never remember their name, Toots.
Oh my God. Oh, also the film references. There were some film references in the film that you loved. I didn't understand, and they were meant as jokes for males, but you got every one of those.
Well, they were definitely meant for the boyfriends who were dragged to the theater to watch the film. Like the Snyder cut joke
of Justice League. Okay.
Which is very true.
Okay.
That's where I'm like, yeah, this movie's fucking brilliant.
Okay.
Because dude, so many side tangent, but so many fans of the Snyderverse of like DC films, they're like these people in this film. Like they're like the Kens in here, dude. Like the comments I see, Superman. I want a Superman where I can almost see his dick.
Oh my God.
The red pants on the outside bullshit. I want to see camel toe with Superman.
Jesus.
Superman snaps people's necks.
Oh.
Yeah, Batman should kill. And speaking of Batman, and speaking of people who have played Ken, Michael Keaton played Ken in Toy Story 3. I don't know if you remember.
I forgot. Yeah.
I wish he and the voice actress for Barbie in those films had cameos in this film.
I do too. Now that you say that, that would have been so funny.
Yeah. Like here's old Ken. And then he shows up, it's crazy looking Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Hey Barbie, I want you to tell all your friends about me.
Yeah.
Then they do a Beetlejuice reference.
Again, do a little Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Pop in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have cheered.
I would have loved that.
I would have been like that dickhead in Oppenheimer. Albert Einstein. Batman. There was one thing I wanted to bring up. We just kind of...
Yeah. No, go for it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Go for it.
This is a patriarchy after all. Anyway. I did want to talk about how kind of adult this film is. Like there were things that would definitely go over kids' heads.
Oh,
like
so many.
The last joke. I mean, Jesus Christ.
My gynecologist. Yeah. No, the kid, it went over my head the first time I saw it, honestly, and I'm not a freaking kid.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't expect this to be as mature as it gets.
Yeah. Some of the language that Barbie just spouts out in general of like intrusive, irrepressible, whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa.
Oh, this is, I guess she's not a bimbo as she's referred to.
Exactly. It's a Barbie
fascist.
Bimbo. Yeah.
To bring up like social dichotomy
I
in this, I called it dichomedy.
It almost, it
pretty much
fits.
But
fits
like
the bill.
They bring up social issues, social transgressions in this. I mean, this movie is a very
and I think Sarah, the daughter, is supposed to represent a lot of us right now.
Yeah. Well, do you feel kind of you can relate more to her type of character where she is a bit more cynical? And because I remember there was that moment in the rant scene, not America Ferrera's, but hers. At the middle school where she's like she's tearing Barbie a new asshole and calling her a fascist and saying all this shit about how it set the feminist movement back. How do you feel about that?
Well, and it's funny because your mom was like, no, she didn't, she's just Barbie, and I was like, I literally
hold up.
Yeah.
Well, what were you thinking?
I think I was more so thinking along the lines of like body standard, which has come a long way. That's not really a problem anymore, but definitely when I was younger and that body standard of a Barbie, I was like, why don't I have that cut in my tummy that makes me look ripped? Why can't why do I still have like belly rolls and she's flat? Like, it made me as a kid want to look forward to growing up to look like that, not because of other things.
I see.
So I can definitely personally relate to setting an unrealistic body standard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, in that rant where I was personally agreeing with was, also setting the feminist movement back. But definitely the unrealistic body standards making me feel bad a little bit, yeah. Sending the movement back because obviously you're catering to a more general public. So when you put out a doll, you have to make sure that you're not going too strong with a point so that families are still going to want to buy it. So sometimes you almost have to milquetoast some things down.
Yeah.
Like the discontinuation of the pregnant Barbie, you know?
Yeah.
No one wants to buy a pregnant Barbie. That's weird. But it's like, that's reality.
Yeah.
That's a body. That's a woman's body.
I would buy the pregnant Barbie if, like, there was a function where I press in the belly and then the baby shoots out.
I was just about to say there's a lever and just fetus drop.
Yeah, well, it's like it's like a
PEDS?
Those gel, you know, when a toy has like a gel surface and you just push in the ball and then it pushes the baby out on a string.
Yes.
and it just like dangles. I would buy that.
I would too.
And I would play. I'd put it next to my MODOK here.
Oh my god, that would be the setup for this table, the podcast table.
Yeah, hell yeah, Midge and MODOK.
I love that.
Well, what I find really interesting in terms of like the arc and the parallels between, you see this visually at the beginning, bringing up the different types of Barbie and like how Margot Robbie's version of Barbie is the standard,
yes,
of course, but then you see this montage of different types, right? You see
yes.
like a doctor, a fucking nurse,
physicist, Nobel Prize winner,
you know,
president.
Yeah, you see all the variations,
yeah.
And that's setting up what a Barbie is versus the end when she's becoming a human, and you see this montage of just women.
Yeah.
Which I thought was, I love that. You know, I thought that was, I mean, you know, talking about crying, I mean, I was getting very emotional at the end, honestly. It's such a beautiful ending.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and I just love it when films come full circle in that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's wonderful. And the very opening scene where it homages 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant.
That set the tone, which we said then and there.
Yeah.
This, for as stupid and as funny as it is, it set you up really well for what you were about to expect for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I would be hard pressed to find someone. Well, I mean, I guess I could, but it would be a little shocking to meet someone who hated the film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
vehemently against.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just because of politics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can't even put your feelings aside to separate and look at the rest of the aspects just critically and see whether the construction of just a film in general was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the whole idea that you brought up of like self-image and bodies and everything, you've seen that opening scene, even though it's hilarious. The little girls are playing with dolls that look like them.
Yeah.
You know, at their age, you know, where they're little dresses and they're babies and stuff. And,
yeah.
And Barbie comes in and completely changes
exactly
the view and the dynamic of dolls and representation and everything. And what I was thinking, I'm curious what you'll think about this, but it's like in that scene, it felt like it's okay. It's all right. Let me get my words right here.
Okay.
Because I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Okay.
They're homaging 2001: A Space Odyssey in that scene for a very specific reason, because in the original scene, it's a bunch of apes in that area, and the monolith comes, and it's a big black box.
Right.
It gives them knowledge, right? That's the gift of the monolith in 2001. It shows evolution, right?
Right.
In this, they replace the black box and the apes with
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie's Barbie and little girls.
Yeah.
And it's changing, it's giving them knowledge, but what they're thinking, this is how I interpreted it, is that they have to grow up fast. Do you think there's truth to that?
I mean, a little bit. I don't think it was, I don't know if that was necessarily the point with that scene.
Yeah.
But I personally can relate to that.
You felt that, like you have to grow up fast?
Not like I have to, but I want to now.
You want to?
Like I'm looking more forward to getting out of this youthful place.
I see. And is it like you're looking for stability is that what you're looking for?
I'm looking forward to a better version of me.
Oh, what does that look like?
Just because that'll come with age, and when I get older, things will be better type thing.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
when I get older, I'm going to have the husband I want. I'm going to have the house I want. I'm going to look really pretty. I'm going to be able to do things on my own.
Yeah.
That was what it was for me as a little girl. For every other little... I can't speak for every girl, but that's what it was for me.
Here.
Yeah.
That's why you're here. To speak for women.
To speak for every single woman
all of them
that ever saw this movie.
Hey, I'm speaking for men.
This is true.
I've been doing the voices of other men.
This is true.
Okay.
Two specifically.
Two very specific ones who will determine the fate of masculinity. Okay?
Yeah.
They really are like the symbols of like... Sebastian and Brian really are like the symbols of two different types of men in some ways. Like politically and... You know, how they carry themselves.
Yeah.
It's like the Force. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the dark side and the light side. I won't say who's who. But you can, if you listen so far, you can probably guess.
I can see that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Engaged in a forever battle of good versus evil.
See, for me, they're just, you guys are all in the same friend group, so I just lump y'all.
It's just one big asshole. Between the three of you, you all suck.
No. But yeah, I guess I haven't really thought of them that way. That's funny.
Well, you will.
I don't know if it was. I think that was more so intended when you're talking about the evolution and growing up quicker. I think they were more so going for the evolution of the brand and the evolution of toys in general.
Yeah, like the directions they went in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because before, when they were baby doll toys, they were meant for like a specific purpose of like, we're going to train you as a little girl to be motherly, to be empathetic, to take care of another kid. Yeah. Essentially. Yeah. And then when Barbie was introduced, I think it more so became about just playing whatever the little girl wanted to do, rather than you have to take care of it. This is an adult, so she can do what she wants. Yeah. So you can play with her. I think it was more so an evolution of toys and marketing, and when I first think about it, rather than like, oh, we're trying to condition the kids to grow up faster.
Interesting.
Which, I mean, you did eventually see with Sarah, the daughter.
Yeah, like she's like in middle school and she's like
spewing out about being fascist. Like what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. That when you say that, that makes the image of them smashing the baby doll not only funny but powerful. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I thought of.
Yeah. Completely breaking the mold.
Which makes sense why they in Barbie Land are thinking, oh, we did all of this for them. Yeah. You know, it's. You can play however you want to. You can choose. You can have more of a free thought as a little girl. Yeah. Which follows the vein of having these different Barbie roles. But I'd never really thought of your perspective of like, you know, it's forcing them to grow up faster. Which, I mean, my professor, I've talked with I had a teacher back in middle or high school where he had his own theory that the world is accelerating at a faster pace than what everyone can handle, and that will be our own demise. And when I hear things like that, I kind of my brain goes to that. Yeah. Which, you know, is a common thought nowadays, especially with global warming and everything like that. So that's not anything new, but like that's where my brain goes to when you think of that vein.
Well, I think this movie is kind of a response to that idea, right? And that kind of, not that your teacher at the time was cynical, I don't know the teacher, but that type of idea and thought, this movie is almost trying to figure out how to combat it. Yeah. Right? Especially at the end. You know, you see like how the Barbies take back the land and everything, and they're realizing that it can't go back to how it was where we were just in charge, right? We have to treat each other with equitable amounts of respect. Yes. Because that's otherwise it all falls apart. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was very, very clever of them to use the Capitol, as a stage for
taking back.
Yeah, taking back and emphasizing that, right?
June or July.
oh shit. I don't know if that was intentional on their parts, but it's an interesting...
Probably not, but that's hilarious. I hope it was. Oh my god.
It all comes
the
back
insurrection.
To that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm gonna try to take footage of the insurrection and color correct the Capitol
to be pink.
I'm gonna try.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna see if that works.
Okay.
Insert the final product here.
The wisdom and the intelligence and the strength of a black woman mayor of Atlanta in the middle of this riot, and then we can get someplace.
Wow, that looked great.
Wow, good job, Julius.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Da Vinci Resolve 18. No, yeah, it's really interesting how they're trying to kind of solve a lot of the problems here. In terms of like looking at masculinity, femininity, the only thing that was missing from the Kens was them like doing a podcast, about being Ken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm surprised there wasn't like a Joe Rogan.
Well, they went so far as to do the radio.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And they're playing that song and shit.
Yeah, they took over the channels.
That's true.
So they almost went in that vein.
I was expecting a Joe Rogan Ken. Not Joe Rogan, but like a stand-in Joe Rogan.
A version of.
I don't know what actor they would get, but someone.
John Cena? No, we already have John Cena as the mermaid.
Shit. Steve Austin. What?
Howie Mandel.
Oh my god. Howie Mandel Ken is gonna haunt me forever, dude. Now I want a Simon Cowell Ken. You're just awful.
I can see a Simon Cowell. That makes sense, a Simon Cowell Ken.
It kind of does. I don't like it, but it does.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. What did you think of the scene where America Ferrera's character goes on the rant
and wakes up
Barbie?
Yeah.
Where it's very much the scene.
You have to be, it's the scene that every guy likes to question women about whether they relate to, pretty much.
Yeah, and also criticize. I've talked to people who are like, this is the moment that people will call it woke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm curious how you feel about it, whether you felt if it was overhanded. Because the difference here versus my initial screening, most of the people who were watching with me were women.
Yeah.
And I was kind of watching your guys' reaction because I was curious how you guys would react to the scene.
I'm sure a lot of male audience did that too, to watch their girl or whoever react.
Yeah, so I'm curious how you felt during that scene.
Well, to start, it definitely struck a chord.
Right.
Very clearly, yes. There were a couple parts, there were a couple lines, and I don't remember directly, but there were a couple lines that I didn't necessarily agree with or didn't think was as much of a problem nowadays. But there was at very least 50% of it where I was like, you're preaching to the choir, girly, keep going.
Right.
Yeah. You have to make money, but you can't ask because that's too crass.
Right.
You always have to be grateful, but you can't stand out because you're one of the girls, but you somehow have to stand out. Ooh. Mm-hmm. And you can't say you want to be healthy because you want to be thin, but you want to be thin because you have to be thin.
Yeah.
Hello, going back to my body.
Yeah.
A lot of it for me as a woman comes back to my body.
Mm-hmm.
Body standards. Skating. I'm in a sport where, and I think we talked about this a couple podcasts. Like one of the last times I was on here, and it was just you and I.
Right.
I'm in a sport where it's very easier to be thin. So when you naturally have curves, I do still struggle with body dysmorphia. I still think I'm fat.
Oh, come on. Look at you.
50% of the time, I still think I'm fat. And I know from an outside perspective, I'm not.
Yeah.
I can feel my face getting red.
It's okay.
But
you want me to open a window?
No.
Everyone can hear.
Hey guys!
You can listen to this shit.
Yeah.
We thought Barbie was the end of this. Part 2.
But yeah, being the part about gratitude, the part about the money, the part about the body, the part about, you know, you have to be for the girls, but to be an attractive girl, you also have to stand out. And, you know, if you're falling short, it's all on you because you're a mom and you're supposed to be able to handle a career and being a mother. Like that alone, that thought terrifies me.
Yeah.
Because I want to be a great mother, but do you think I'm ever getting off the ice unless it's an injury? Fuck no.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of that rant was felt and accurate.
Right.
Maybe not all of it, but a lot of it.
It was coming from a very real place.
100%.
Right.
100%.
Well, I don't cringe or shudder during that scene, mainly because there's nothing for me to cringe at, because that scene is written from a completely different perspective for me.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't criticize it or get upset. Like, you know, because let's be real. Like, outrage culture is a thing.
Yes.
And that scene has been criticized by I'm sure a lot of women have been like, this is preachy and everything. And, you know, it's not like that for all of us, I'm sure. But a lot of men have also said, that's why this movie is so smart. It opens up saying, okay, the Barbies came in and feminism was solved.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's like, you're not listening if you're getting upset, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The movie knows the critiques it's going to receive.
Yeah.
That aren't really critiques. It's just political ideologies clashing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how any man specifically, and if anyone listening disagrees, by all means, love to hear it, love to read it.
Yeah, let's talk about it in the comments. Let's have a discussion of perspectives. Let's not shut each other down on this.
Like, share, and subscribe, boys. But for the most part, we don't have to deal with what she's talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why I'm just there to listen.
I'm sure there
primarily.
are men that have dealt with body image issues. You can relate to that.
Yes, I absolutely do relate to it.
Yeah, but it's in a different context. Simply put it.
Well, it's en masse, and it's almost institutionalized. They deal with patriarchy in the film.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's not just a thing that happens.
They make it clear by sexualizing the women when the patriarchy comes to Barbie Land.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why that's part of her yearning to be human.
Yeah.
And not just an object. Because what the girl is saying in that rant to her, you know, calling her a fascist and everything, she's obviously going overboard because she's a teenage girl.
Yeah.
But there is truth to what she's saying. Barbie is literally a toy.
Yeah.
You know,
you are a part of consumerism.
Yeah, you're and some might argue you're a weapon of it.
Yeah.
Of capitalism and everything, and you're used to, you know, the things you've talked about with body dysmorphia and everything.
Yep.
It's a contributor at least. And I think the reason she has such an emotional reaction to it is because she knows that.
Yeah.
She knows it's true, and that's why the ending,
that makes sense.
You know, it is powerful by the end. She says, I know where my fate lies if I become human.
Yeah.
But it's better than being
someone else's.
Yeah, an invention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's beautiful.
Someone else's societal norm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I didn't have Barbies growing up, but I did have action figures, which in some ways do well. Not
they
in some
do a
ways,
similar thing.
They do
I'm
the same
sure.
thing.
Yeah, with men, the rippling muscles, the tall stature.
Look at Batman right here.
He's jacked.
He's unbelievably jacked.
Yeah, he's got a 6-pack under there.
And this, by the way, I'm going to provide a picture for the podcast. But this is my Dark Knight Returns action figure, Frank Miller, who was a crazy dude, artist, writer, who drew him specifically to look all jacked and Schwarzeneggered out.
Of course.
I'm Batman. I am the law. You know, like this. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't escape it is the point.
No.
And everyone has to deal with it, which is why I love the conclusion, which is let's just treat each other with equitable amounts of respect.
Yes.
You know?
Be there for each other as you would anyone else.
It's wonderful.
Nothing different, nothing more.
Nothing more.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't think I have anything else to say. I don't know
it was
about
funny.
you.
Oh, okay, I have one more thing.
Oh,
going
shit.
along that vein of like nothing more, nothing less. One of the sometimes I'll go through personally. I'll go through phases of feeling extra confident or secure in myself, and then feeling pretty low and being like a little bit more self-deprecating than often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen me go through those. You've probably noticed it a little bit,
Sure,
or
yeah.
I vocalized
Sure,
it.
yeah.
During one of those phases, I was watching Trixie Mattel.
Oh, okay.
And she was talking with, I think, either one of her best friends or a sister, and saying, you know, part of the reason, a good majority of the reason why I have confidence in myself is because she's like, I am no better than the person next to me, but I'm also not any worse than the other person next to me. She's like, we've all done horrible shit, and I'm not that great of a person.
Yeah.
So she's like, if I'm middle of the road, if I'm like, you know, if I'm middle ground, if I'm not horrible and I'm not great, why don't I just have the confidence? There's nothing there to be, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, when I think of equitable respect, I kind of think of that frame of mind. Of like, I'm no better or no worse than anyone else.
Yeah. But you're wonderful.
Oh, so
Did you know that?
So are you.
Oh, well, I'm all right. I'm hot right now.
I am too.
But that's no different than usual.
You're so hot.
Where's my guitar? Hold on. Let me play it at you.
Let me play. I love how they specifically chose the words not with you, but at you.
I'm going to play the guitar at you.
At you. Yeah.
I don't know the song. I wanted to learn it, but I didn't want to sing it unless more people were here.
Do you know the song, how to play the song House of Gold by 21 Pilots on the guitar? I feel like you would.
No.
Ding. Oh, that's a ukulele. I'm stupid. Never mind.
Oh, for fuck. All right, that's how you know it's done. This podcast is actually as long as the film at this point, which is amazing. It could be played over the film, and it would work perfectly.
Yeah.
I love it.
You just have to edit in chronological order so it makes sense, but yeah.
Yeah.
Which will you do?
No.
Oh, fuck you.
I won't do that.
No, I'm joking.
You fucking asshole. Hey, I had a great time talking to you.
Me too.
Because I always have a great time talking to you.
No, I do too with you. You know that.
Oh, okay. Hey, you're the best.
No, you.
Oh. All right. That's how it's done, Nick. All right.
Oh my God!
All right, guys.
No!
Thank you for listening. Jessica, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes, I love doing these podcasts.
Oh, I love hearing that.
Yeah.
And you're going to be in a couple things coming out soon.
Yes, I will.
So I can't wait. We have to talk about that right now, actually.
Oh, shit.
Okay, guys, thank you for listening. Check out the next one. And I have one last question, actually, for you and for everyone else.
Okay.
Have you even seen The Godfather?
No.
All right, that's it. Bye, guys.
Bye.